But my man Jason Jones always at the top of the power rankings.
Yeah,
Jason Jones of the Athletic. What's up, my brother?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
We good, baby. Let's start with the two biggest pieces of business. This I know it hasn't hit the culture tab of the Athletic yet, but I'm sure it's on the way. What do you think about WWE's newest acquisition?
I mean, I think that's where she probably was going to be anyway, and yeah, it's perfect. I think they're going to turn Jay Cargill into a superstar. I don't think that AEW had the experience or the machine to do what WWE or whatever they're called, whatever TKO. That was weird seeing the press release TKO and all, with the yeah, and she's already all the way in. Tweeting about Charlotte and Rhea already. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I think.
By the way, did you know Charlotte's going to be here Friday?
I
Charlotte's Charlotte's going to be at Cricket Wireless on Florin on Friday.
I might need to not work. I mean, I shouldn't say that out loud. Maybe I need to not work to show up.
So I'm hosting that event out there. She's going to be there from 9 to 11. So, if you and your 6'8" kids want to roll through, man, it's going to be a busy day. They asked me to do this like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago.
Mhm.
And they were just like, yeah, it's going to be a WWE wrestler. We don't know who. I got the email like a week and a half ago. I was like, yo, it's Charlotte? Wow.
I think the last time I did that, it was Sasha. So
Yeah, I did that one too.
yeah, I was there with Sasha, and I told my son about to meet your stepmom, and he was
There,
like,
oh man.
back then he was actually. I don't think he was. I think he was barely taller than Sasha at that point. Now he's taller than everyone. And actually, today's his birthday. Happy birthday! I call him Little.
Hey. Air horn fly.
I
There we
call
go.
him Little J, even though he's way taller than me.
Yeah. Yeah, your kids are not little.
Not at all.
Some
If you ever
big
want
ass.
anybody, maybe I'll be real trife and put my Cash App in something. Anyone who wants to contribute to feeding my children.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that looks like. I can't imagine what it's like to be a Raider fan either. You're a pretty level-headed sports fan. You never get too up or too down when it comes to your teams. Bruh, this team is frustratingly bad. I'm not even a Raider fan, and I watch them frustrated.
It's it's just torture. I mean, even when your best players do, like Max Crosby gave them 3 points. I'm like, why are you yanking people off the pile? Like, why? Just gave him 3 points. I
Yeah.
mean, my man Jimmy G throws 3 picks. Those first two were just like, what are you doing? I mean, they can't run the ball anymore. And it's just crazy because everyone got mad at Derek Carr last year for like you only throw to Devontae. Jimmy might be worse right now.
Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy ain't even looking at Hunter Renfro. He ain't looking at nobody like
They
Devontae
don't even
Adams.
put Hunter. They would put Hunter on the field half the time. I'm like, why did you give this man this nice contract to not play him at all?
I think Ramsey said earlier, Hunter's got 3 catches in 3 games so far.
That used to be a quarter for him.
It's incredible.
And then you've got just the weird play calling on both sides. We're down by 8. We're going to kick the field goal because, of course, this great defense is going to get a stop. Like, yeah, and like I think I was watching ESPN or something. And what somebody say about Josh McDaniels? Just don't lie to us that bad when you talk.
Thank you.
It's not.
Thank you.
He's not even a good liar. At least like when Lane Kiffin was there, Lane was like an entertaining liar, and Lane would give you a wink, like, I'm full of it, but I gotta say this. Josh talks like we're supposed to believe this stuff.
That
Now,
man said we needed multiple possessions.
you needed 8 points.
That's it. Which is one possession. You needed one singular possession. Everybody in the building knew it, which is why you got booed the way that you did.
Because I was like, okay, I could kind of understand why you did it for it was like 4th and whatever it was from the 29. I'm like, you're at the 8.
Yeah.
So you killed an extra minute or so off the clock to get the same 3 points. Like, okay, I guess. I mean, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do they even have tight ends on the team anymore? I mean, they don't really use them. Like I said, then they kept asking the right tackle to block TJ Watt one on one.
Mhm.
I mean, Parham, who wasn't terrible last year, was getting manhandled in the middle. The center false start. I mean, this all, yeah, just yeah. I don't know.
Every everything is bad, and the worst part, Jay, I don't know how it's gonna get better.
I don't either. I mean, I know everyone was telling me before the year, "Aren't you optimistic?" I'm like, "Not really." And for me, and I've been on this since last season. I don't trust the decision making from the sideline at all.
Yeah.
And we're already back to that pattern of, oh, they look great in the first quarter. That first drive is killing them, and then they can't do anything for the rest of the game. I mean, we're right back to that. Right back where we were. You get that touchdown to Devontae in the first quarter. Do they score again in the fourth? I mean, this is just a rinse repeat of last year.
Mhm.
New quarterback, same thing. I mean, at some point, maybe Mark Davis might want to call the folks in Denver. I know those aren't his people, but hey, they've seen this movie before. So I
Yeah.
mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, and I don't know what Mark Davis is gonna do about any of this. Like, I don't think he's firing Josh McDaniels. I mean, I don't know that Josh McDaniels is gonna move on from Jimmy Garoppolo to Aiden O'Connell. I don't know if he's gonna move to Brian Hoyer. Josh Jacobs is, God bless him, is failing running backs across the league because every owner's high-fiving each other. See, guys, we're doing this right. Running backs can't sustain this level of production, and they're just bad on every level. And I'm trying to like Devontae. The fact that Devontae Adams had to say something, you talked about it looks like a carbon copy of last year, and Devontae Adams essentially said the same exact thing where he's like, we can't be trying to figure things out anymore. We were trying to figure things out last year.
Right.
We've either got it figured out or we don't.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't like last year is you signed Derek Carr to the extension. You give him a big 1 year deal. You had at that point you had Darren Waller, you had a Pro Bowl tight end, you have Jacobs, you have Devontae Adams. I don't want to hear about we're trying to figure it out. You don't have
Yeah.
a rookie quarterback and a bunch of young. I don't want to hear about that. And then this year we're trying to figure it out. No, what you told us all off season, which of course I didn't believe. We got a quarterback who knows the system. He's got 6 picks already.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it's comical. It really is. It's like, and then just the fact that you don't address the interior of that D line at all. I'm like, you got a guy like Jenkins who's 34, and then I got to watch Monday Night Football and watch Jalen Carter go out there and do what he does while their first round pick, I don't even know what's on the field.
Yeah.
Outside of that and Chandler Jones,
Oh,
I don't know what's going on with that.
oh,
Outside,
we
besides
didn't
all
even
that, we're
talk
normal.
about that. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that today. Chandler Jones was posting that he was taken by Las Vegas Police Department against his will. Like, that is a say it all the time. I hope my brother's okay.
Yeah.
This is a weird ass story.
This story is like scary weird.
Right.
I mean, it's just in the Raiders that we just can't say anything about it. It's like, well, what's going? This like I said, it's just yeah. I have no words for them right now. It's just they got their one win, but clearly Denver's terrible at this point. So, and even then, they only scored 17 on Denver. I think Denver just
Yeah.
gave them almost 100 points the other day.
Yeah. I do. That is the one gratifying thing about all of this, the frustration with the Raiders, but the fact that the Broncos are getting their ass kicked is wonderful. Not particularly because I'm wrapped up in the Raiders Broncos AFC West rivalry, just because it turns out Sean Payton is an absolute jackass and I love watching him lose.
Yeah, and he was talking bad about Hackett, talking
Mhm.
bad about Russell Wilson. Stop kissing babies. That was a good defense last year.
Mhm.
They gave up 7. I mean, those are like Madden on like 10-minute quarter numbers.
Yeah.
350 passing and running. I mean, yeah, I'm getting so much joy out of watching Sean Payton just be like, oh, just like lose it.
Next
And
question.
yeah.
What's the question? Oh yeah, take it out on the media, tough guy. That's it.
And
That's a good
someone was
idea.
like, "Well, Russell Wilson could have did more." I say, if they had scored 20 more points, they still would have lost by 30. They had 70 points with 8 minutes to play.
Like, yeah, like Sean Payton, if your offense put up 60 and you still lose by double digits, that's probably not the defense you want to lean on.
I mean, this is just yeah. Then what did they say yesterday? He watched the film; it was worse than he remembered. Really? You didn't know
Mm.
it was terrible in the what? Oh man, this is yeah. But because it's happening to Denver, I can live with it.
The biggest news out of the NFL weekend is what you wrote about over in the Athletic on the Athletic. Usher named the halftime act for the upcoming Super Bowl in Las Vegas. This has been met with a unique reaction.
Yeah,
Um, and I've boiled it down to as simple as this. You were either outside or you weren't. Because if you don't know why Usher can headline this event in Las Vegas, you haven't been paying attention.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's people like Usher. Why? And I think it didn't help him that
What is it,
Taylor
2002?
yeah, they're like, "Oh, wow," but I think that I've gotten that reaction, and I've seen kind of the, "Okay, Jay-Z, get somebody stop putting your people on here." Like,
Hmm.
"Okay, we get it. It's our 3rd urban Super Bowl in a row." Like, my first tweet, someone replied, "I will be turning the channel." I'm like, "Okay,
Oh,
I don't really
good for
care,"
you.
but
Good for you.
yeah, but yeah, and then apparently someone named Taylor Swift went to a football game, and so that everyone was like, whatever. But
Are you going
us,
to write about that next?
hey, I don't know. I might have to. It
Oh,
made me
you might.
relive one of my favorite Kings media room stories.
What's that one?
Oh, it was involving me. You remember when Kanye went on stage and was like, when Taylor won the award?
Of course.
And at that point, I had no idea who Taylor Swift was. None. Zero. So we're in the media room and I was being dead serious. And I said, I don't know why Kanye's mad at Taylor from American Idol. And they were
You
like,
thought she was Kelly Clarkson?
no, remember the dude, Taylor? Remember when they had Ruben and they had the old looking dude, Taylor?
Oh, okay. The
All I heard was
Ruben
that,
Studdard, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
all I heard that was Kanye got mad at Taylor. I'm like, why is he mad at an American Idol dude? And they were like, you don't know who Taylor Swift? Like Sam Amick, like lost his mind. Like, how do you not know who this is? And I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about. Who the hell is Taylor Swift? Like
Uh,
Amick and like Cunning, they were all just like, oh my god.
oh, it got better. I was like, "Oh, it can't get better than Sam Amick getting mad at you for not knowing who Taylor Swift is." But then you throw in Sean Cunningham, and it gets even better.
And then it became about how racist my iPod was.
Oh,
And I was like, someone was like, well, who do you have in there? They're like, do you have anybody who's like not black? I said, I got Eminem. They're like,
well,
who else? I'm like, no, 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 no. I got a song by Third Base.
probably
You
got
know,
Tina Marie in there, I'm
I did
sure.
have Tia Marie in there, but
Yeah,
it was then deemed it became like Sean's personal mission to expose me to music that I had never heard.
that's
So that's
tremendous.
it was I was and they were like, oh my God, Jason doesn't know about. I'm like, I know who Kanye is, and I still don't know any Taylor Swift music, but at least I know who she is. I know she messed up Ticketmaster.
She messed up Ticketmaster. She had a hell of a tour going on at the same time as Beyonce's. I obviously I very much know who Taylor Swift is, but I found out when she did the show at Levi's, and a lot of our people went. Jill Adge. Jill Adge is the one I point to because one, she seemed to have had the most fun. Two, she posted the most videos, and the show looked incredible, and everybody was singing, and she's playing the guitar. And as I'm going through like each video, it's like I don't know that song. The next one, I don't know that song. Like I didn't know any of the records, and then I realized I probably know like maybe 2 or 3 Taylor Swift songs, and she does like 3 hours. Her show like mirrors Beyonce, and it's 3 hours by herself entertaining anyone, and I just don't know those records.
And she's got a banner at Crypto. She got a banner before the Clippers.
That's funny. What's the banner for?
I forgot like how many sold out shows in a row she did there. Like
Well, think
Kobe was
about that. she's
Yeah.
got a she's got a banner at crypto, and then she just she did SoFi like 4 times or something like that.
Mhm. And meanwhile, the Clippers are still out there like, "Hey, maybe we
Wow.
can hang our selfies back up, we'll cover up the Laker banners and the Taylor Swift banner." I'm sorry, the Clippers didn't deserve that.
No, it's funny though. It's funny. They they need to get into their new little spot. Pretty. Who
Yeah, they're
was
over
that?
there.
Was that Bomber? Was
Yeah.
Bomber the one who was like, why do we play with the Lakers banners hanging up?
It was like, it might have been Doc. It was
Oh,
Doc.
that's right. I think you're right. I think you're right. It was Doc.
Yeah, it was like, "Why do we do that? Like, why do we play with their stuff up there?" And it's like, "Well, get something up there then."
So they put up pictures of Paul
They put
Pierce or whoever it was.
of Blake Griffin and,
Like,
like,
yeah.
Eric Gore. Yeah, they just put pictures up like, "Okay, we're gonna cover these up," and it was such a Clipper thing to do because because it was just like, okay,
Shiny
another reason to
selfies.
but they gotta be sweating bullets out there with this load management stuff. Like, what are they gonna do? I mean, they're actually make Kawhi play? I mean, that's
I don't know how they're gonna get through this. I mean, I'm not more than the what is it called? The player participation policy. I think more about what Lawrence Frank said in the after the season ended. Like we need our guys to take the regular season more serious. And if I'm any of them, if I'm Ty Lue, Lawrence Frank, if I'm whoever, I was like, hey, load management clearly doesn't work. Kawhi got hurt in the playoffs after load managing all year. You probably can't say that publicly, but you got to have a good idea of what he wants to do this year, or I don't know. I guess you're going to be fined repeatedly.
yeah, well, Kawhi went there because Kawhi can run that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no secret. That's why Kawhi went there. And the word on the street was that summer he's not playing more than 60 games. Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they went all in to get him. They couldn't let him go to the Lakers, so you traded all your assets to get Paul George, who then started getting hurt too. It's just, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do because I don't know. I honestly don't know if Kawhi can hold up for a whole season.
I've always been of the belief the Clippers played themselves. I don't think Kawhi was going to the Lakers. We had heard before the trade to Toronto that he wanted to go to the Clippers. He was always going to the Clippers. And when it came down to this Clippers-Lakers thing, I think he used that all as leverage and didn't do it. Like, I think he used it all as leverage, but he wasn't really going to do it.
Mm-hmm. And he said, "I'll come if you go get Paul George." Oh, wow, they really did it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
They really traded all these pieces thank you. And because you remember when that happened, the Lakers they started signing guys like a second later. They had a whole plan, like, okay,
Yep.
hey, we gotta wait, and they just went boom, 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 and did what they were gonna do. But yeah, it's the Clippers. I mean, what do you do?
They had helicopters following Kawhi Leonard around. Like, that was
That was a
amazing.
wild time. It was like the the helicopters fall, they're in Toronto.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. They're following him around Toronto.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
Yeah,
That's
man.
amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest, finesse jobs ever. Kawhi was like, okay, I'm going to the Clippers.
Good for him. I can't do you know anything about Kawhi's personality at all?
Not a
I
lot.
don't know anything about that dude. What's like nothing.
I've spoken to him one on one once. He was just kind of like, cool. Uh, it almost feels like the longer he's been in the league, the less you know about him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I knew more about him when I met him when he was like a rookie or coming into the league. Now it's like I don't know anything else about him. Like I'm just thinking, I don't know if he has a family. I don't know anything about him, which is good for him. That's kind of hard to do in 2023, where no one knows anything about you.
That's a great point. I have no idea if that dude's married or has kids or anything.
I know he went to the Colorado State game.
He did that, and I don't even think he got acknowledged. I think I saw it on Twitter, and when Mark and Louis Reddick were talking about everyone who was there, they showed Chauncey and was
Kyle.
it Kyle Lowry?
Yeah, Kyle Lowry up in the
Yeah, they showed them up in the suite. They didn't even mention that Kawhi Leonard was on the sideline. They showed The Rock and and I think it was Quavo who was there.
Or yeah, and then I think, or was it all? Well, it was one of them.
It was one of them.
You had like Master P there.
Mm.
All these people there, and I wonder if the people go. I hope those guys still go to games after the last weekend.
Oh, I hope so too. But what do you think happens next? We talked a little bit about this yesterday. They got manhandled by Oregon. I don't have much reason to believe that's not going to happen again this weekend. But what does that mean for the Colorado story and the Deion Sanders story?
I think if they at least score some points, it won't be so bad because I don't think anyone expects them to beat USC now. I mean, I don't think why anyone they were going to beat Oregon. That was crazy. It reminded me why I don't watch TV a lot, like sports talk a lot. When someone said it was so disrespectful that Colorado was an underdog, like a 20-point underdog at Oregon, like how could you do this? And it's like, do you guys not watch college football at all? Like, even a little bit to think that that's disrespectful. And then even with my man Keyshawn going on about they were coaches who gave them information. I'm like, that literally happens all the time. Like, that literally happens all the time. Like, coaches share information. I mean, I was like, yeah, Deion has brought out some weird takes out of people.
Yeah, he definitely. That reminds me. Did you see your boy Skip's tweet?
Oh God, yes.
So what's funny about this? What's funny about this is Skip Bayless, very, very white, tweeted, "Is Deion's Colorado the like Black America's team?" And it was funny because at some point this morning before the show, Black America was trending. And if you clicked on this is a true story. If you clicked on Black America to see all of the tweets, you see Skip Bayless's tweet. And that was the question. And of course, Skip was getting eviscerated for this. And then you see an article, the next article written by it wasn't Justin Tinsley, but it was one of our guys over at Anscape. And it was titled, "Why Colorado is Black America's New Favorite Team." That was written like 6 days ago. Then there was another tweet right below that referenced Colorado and Black America's team, and it was written by Mike Freeman. All of those writers are black. And then you got Skip Bayless's tweet and Skip is getting destroyed for tweeting, "Is Colorado Black America's new favorite team?"
That is hilarious. I mean, I didn't even. When I saw the tweet, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be." Hope Skip has his mentions turned off. Just don't even look at him. They're not going to be kind to him today. But yeah, I mean, people have been asking and writing that already. Like I said, you go from Georgetown. I talked about it before. Georgetown had that label in basketball. Michigan got it with the Fab Five. I know folks to this day who wear Michigan stuff because of the Fab 5. But yeah, this is. And like I said, Colorado's been good before. It's just been a while, but I mean, they've been good before. I mean, Cordell Stewart was there. Eric Bieniemy. They have a Heisman Trophy winner in their past. They've had good teams and good players. It's just been a while. I say the same thing about Cal. Like they've been good before. It's just been a long time.
Once upon a time,
yeah,
they were solid a minute ago, but they were good. You brought up the Clippers a second ago. We were talking earlier about Chris Paul, the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr spoke yesterday. Mike Dunleavy Jr. spoke yesterday. Do you have any reason to believe this? And I know it's your boy over there, Draymond Green. Do you have any reason to believe this situation with Chris Paul and the Golden State Warriors is going to work?
If work meaning a championship, no.
Do you think Chris Paul finishes the season with the Golden State Warriors?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
I don't either.
I'm like,
I don't think I think they're going to be at each other's necks before Christmas.
I just think, they were talking about, somebody was saying, well, does Chris Paul start? Who doesn't start? Or did he come off the bench? I said, no matter what decision you make, someone's going to be very angry. And you say, well, this bench Looney, he's like the low guy on the totem pole. You're really going to start a game with no one over 6'6", basically. I get like this was the problem last year. Like this is so you're going to have a a barely 6 foot Chris Paul with 6'3" Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Wade. I mean, there's no way around. There's no. Yeah, I just don't. I think they got older and slower,
Yeah.
and I just don't know how that's going to work. I mean, I understand they had to get off of Jordan Poole. That just wasn't going to work out for him. I just don't understand. I don't see how it works. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I didn't
Could
think I didn't think Russell Westbrook would be a complete disaster in LA, and he was.
Yeah, that one always confused me just because felt like Russ is most effective with the ball in his hands, and, like, you don't take the ball out of LeBron's hands, like, you let LeBron do what he does, and working against that has never worked for anyone.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
yeah,
didn't think it would be as bad as it was. I like the setting for Russell Westbrook much more with the Clippers than I did the Los
yeah,
Angeles Lakers. But I get the idea of you're throwing something in with the Golden State Warriors that kind of goes against the grain of what they do. There's a lot of reason to believe it won't work.
yeah. And some people are saying, "Well, Chris Paul is there for the second team." I'm like, "You're really going to bring in Chris Paul to get?" Uh,
Did y'all
Mo
run this by Chris Paul?
Yeah, we brought him in to get Moses Moody going. I'm like, okay, I guess, but yeah, it's just
It's
yeah,
hard
but
for me to believe.
yeah, I don't see how it works long term. I just don't. But like I said, I've been wrong before. Maybe Steve Kerr bounces back from that FIBA thing and makes it and shows us what a great coach he is and proves us all wrong. Like FIBA was a fluke.
I don't sense a ounce of seriousness in your voice when you say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I like Steve. I like Steve, though. I mean, people who've been killing Steve are Warrior fans. Like, we told you he can't coach.
Yeah,
We told
yeah.
you he can't coach. He got out coached by Darvin Ham. I'm like,
I do I do have an issue. I have a b and I don't think I really realized this till today because probably because Kenny's not here, and I've essentially been talking to myself for the better part of 4 hours. I have a major issue with the way they handled the Jordan Poole situation. Like, I get what you just said, you gotta move on from him, but, you blame Jordan Poole for everything. Like, I think in their mind, they think they would have won an NBA championship last year if it wasn't for Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole ruining the chemistry, ruined everything. Not the actions of your boy, not the actions of the guy on the guy that you just signed to a $100 million contract. Not him, but the fact that the other guy didn't just go, "Oh, buddy, it's okay," and wrap his arms around you. Like, you've put everything on him, and to me, I started to look at just about 3 hours ago, Jason Jones, I started to look at Steve Kerr a little funny.
but remember, we've seen stuff like this before. Remember 2016? How all of a sudden that entire finals was all Harrison Barnes' fault?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's like,
Yeah,
he didn't get suspended, but somehow the entire series was lost because of Harrison Barnes.
yeah.
And then I heard it last year, and I said the same thing. I said, Jordan Poole is not your best player. He's probably not your second or third. It's really all Jordan's fault. But I mean, did anyone think Jordan Poole was gonna have a great season after that video got out? Did anyone think that he was going to be like, oh yeah, it's no big deal? I mean, it's embarrassing. It's
Mhm,
humiliating. The
mhm.
way that just to have the whole world see that. I mean, I don't know what anybody expected from Jordan. Then even this offseason, Jordan's dad going at Draymond on
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah.
Like, yeah, so I can only imagine how tense it was at times behind closed doors or at practices or just even how guys on the team have to probably look at Draymond like, come on, man, really? You did Jordan like that? So like I said, that punch looked like Draymond wanted to do that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hit somebody like that just because you got into it in practice. That had something behind it. So I think just probably for their chemistry, they because you had to move on from Jordan, or you had to move on from one of them, and it
Mhm.
wasn't going to be Draymond.
Right. Yeah. It's still I still think the Warriors are a good basketball team. I don't think they're a championship team,
Yeah,
but I
I
do think
would
they're
agree with that. Yeah, yeah. As long as Steph can still do what he does.
yeah, and that's the key to the whole thing. If Steph is Steph, this team's winning in the vicinity of 50 games.
Yeah, and if Steph misses a bunch of time or something crazy happens, hey, they could be a playing team again. They were a couple of
Mhm.
years ago.
Yeah. Jay, appreciate you as always, my man. Thank you so
No
much for
problem.
joining me, man.
All right, catch
Appreciate
you
it.
next week.